vision to develop their true firstborn college that will spearhead national development through agriculture. At the foot of Mount Makiling, Edwin B. Copeland, together with 7 faculty and 12 students, embarked on the journey to create the UP College of Agriculture, or UPCA. Through its 112 years of existence, the college has produced over 1,000 technologies and variety of plants and animals, 9 national scientists, over 30 outstanding young scientists, and more than 18,000 graduates contributing to agricultural development. UPCA, now College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, has been continuously contributing to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension function. A mere 10 years after establishment, the college was able to start breeding works with the production of sugarcane varieties with high productivity and resistance to Fiji and mosaic disease. In the 1920s, the importance of agriculture was intensified, and UPCA was recognized as neighboring countries began sending their students to Los Baños because of the high quality of education. In the 1930s, breeds with superior characteristics such as the Burkhala pig, Los Baños Cantonese chicken, and Philippine cattle were developed. The 1960s was a fruitful decade for research. Makapuno, a coconut cultivar often made into a dessert, was pioneered and perfected. Meanwhile, the Dairy Training and Research Institute was the first in the country to freeze buffalo semen, paving the way for artificial insemination of local carabaos. Along with the establishment of UPLB in the 70s, the college received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding, Asia's counterpart for the Nobel Peace Prize. In the same decade, the C4 plants were developed. The soil test kits were produced in support of the Masagana 99 program, and the mango induction technique was introduced. Continuing the production of quality research outputs in the 1980s, techniques to minimize post-harvest losses, the accelerated fish sauce manufacturing process, and the rapid test kit for the detection of pesticide residue on vegetables were developed. The 1990s saw many new varieties across species or crop types, including Sinta papaya, the first Philippine-bred hybrid, UPLB Gold, a durian variety, and Doña Amelita, a musaenda named after the wife of former President Fidel Ramos. The award-winning National Corn-Based Farmer Scientist RDE Training Program, or FSTP, was also established around this time and still remains as one of the university's primary extension programs. In the field of instruction, the book titled Integrating Sustainable Agriculture in the BSA Curriculum, the UPLB College of Agriculture Experience, was published in 1999. At present, the College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, continues to be the premier institution of higher learning in agriculture and food science, and remains committed to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension programs. In order to produce the best graduates, all of our courses are outcomes-based education, and continuous improvement of the curriculum is being practiced to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As testament of excellence, CAFS is constantly recognized by different organizations. In research, we continue to implement relevant studies with focus on the 12 priority commodities to address food security. Moreover, technologies are constantly developed to aid in responsible food production. supplementing these are extension activities to disseminate the knowledge generated to improve food productivity and livelihood of the people. We believe that present technologies will future-proof our food systems. Some of our notable developments are iDetect, Caraginam, Plant Health and Pest Clinic, Pest Management Tools and Techniques, Smarter Pest Identification Technology or SPITech, Snap Hydroponics, Drone Technology, Rapid Immunofilter Assay for Virus Indexing, Nanofertilizers Fertigrow, Formagrow, Nanobiosensors, Biochar. We at the College of Agriculture and Food Science will continue to promote and nurture a culture with innovative yet conscientious minds and cutting-edge skills to lead and serve the country and the region. We are one college with one goal towards sustainable food systems.
Isang magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ayan, so nagkakasama-sama na naman po tayo para sa isang makabuluhang web fresher na handog po ng College of Agriculture and Food Science, UPLB. Ang series po natin ngayon ay may temang Rebooting Agriculture in the New Normal, Web Fresher Courses, Aggie P.stock version 7.0, Empowering Women for Food Secured Future. Marami pong episodes sa series na ito, pero ang unique po sa ating series ngayon ay ang pagtatagpo ng mga kababaihan at ang layunin ng food security para sa buong pamilya. Nakapanayam na po natin ang iba't ibang kababaihan na may minamanage at inaalaga ang farming systems at production systems na maaari nating pagkunan ng maraming ideya at kaalaman. Ako po ang inyong makakasama sa umagang ito, si Hazel Ann Makahiya mula po sa Institute of Crop Science, College of Agriculture and Food Science, UPLB. Tara na at mangala po tayo ng kaalaman sa umagang ito. Sa punto pong ito ay nais po nating i-welcome ang lahat ng mga nagsidalo mula sa YouTube at Facebook Live at pati na rin po dito sa mga kasama po natin sa Zoom. Pwede pa po nating sabihin at i-share sa mga kaibigan, kamag-anak po natin na manood po sila mula po sa Facebook page ng CAFS at sa YouTube. Mula po sa ating pre-registration, meron na po tayong higit 100 na mga nag-register. At karamihan po dito ay mga kababaihan at meron din pong ilang mga kalalakihan. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pag-register. Maraming salamat pong muli sa inyong pagsubaybay sa ating webinar na ito. Kaya tayo po ay maging handa na mag-relax at sabay-sabay po tayong matuto ngayong umaga. Bago po tayo magsimula, let me just brief you with our house rules. Para po sa mga inquiries, At sa ating mga kasamahan po dito sa Zoom, sa ating panelist, you can unmute and turn on your video if you have questions. While for our participants, you can use the Zoom chat box. Sa YouTube and Facebook naman po, you can use the comment section. For the question and answer, use the Q&A button sa ating Zoom. At para naman po sa YouTube and Facebook participants, you can use the comment sections sa inyong mga tanong. At para po tayo ay panimulan sa programang ito, ay nais po nating anyayahan sa ating virtual Zoom space si Dr. Consorcia Iriano, ang Director po ng Institute of Crop Science, CAPS UPLB. Ma'am Connie?
Maraming salamat, Hazel. So sa lahat ng ating mga guests, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, yung mga kaibigan natin sa Zoom, sa YouTube, at saka sa Facebook. Okay, so isa na namang episode ng Aggie's Peace Talk. So sa mga regular attendees natin, marami pong salamat sa patuloy na pag-akinig at asahan nyo na we will do our best to continue bringing to you informative and entertaining episodes. So dun sa mga bago, sana ma-appreciate nyo yung mga informasyon na gusto namin ibahagi sa inyo lahat. Pandemic or no pandemic, our episode for today is really very relevant. So sa food security and should be top priority of government. More so in these times na marami tayong challenges sa food security. So meron pa tayong challenges sa health. So I guess by now we have come to realize that women are at the forefront of the food security problem. Women, more often than not, get to decide kung anong ihahain sa mesa ng kani-kanilang mga pamilya. Pero ngayon, lumabas na yung women sa kanilang mga bahay. Women have gone out of the confines of their homes para mas maraming makinabang at mag-contribute especially on ensuring nutrition and food security. Our episode for today is Empowering Women for a Food-Secured Future. And our guest is no less than Dr. Marian Sayoc, the Public Affairs Lead for the East-West Seed Group. The UN Committee on World Food Security defines food security as a state when all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. Not only are they agents for providing sufficient and nutritious food through high-quality vegetable seeds, yan po yung ating organisasyon ng ating panauhin ngayong umaga. They provide high-quality vegetable seed varieties, but they also empower the farmers with knowledge and skills to increase their income, thereby contributing to increasing economic access ng ating mga farmers. So, alam ko na sabik na tayo marinig si Ma'am Sayoc, Ma'am Marian Sayoc. So, unang-una, nagpapasalamat po ako sa inyo for accepting our invitation, and may we all have a fruitful day ahead of us. So, magandang umaga po ulit sa ating lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Connie, para sa inyong nakakaingganyong mensahe sa umagang ito. Thank you po. We know na exciting po ang ating paksa ngayon, lalo na't malawak ang experience ng ating special speaker sa field ng agriculture and securing food availability through farming and crop production. Kaya bago po tayo magsimula at ipakilala po ang ating speaker, inaanyayahan ko po muna ang ating mga panelist dito sa ating Zoom para po sa ating screenshot. Maaari na po nating buksan at i-turn on ang ating video para po sa ating very brief na photo opportunity. Alright po.
Sige po, ma'am. Ako na po bibilang. Okay po. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Isa pa po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay po, thank you.
Thank you po, Miss Kat. Ayan, maraming salamat po sa ating mga panelists. So ngayon, dumako na po tayo sa pagpapakilala ng ating resource person sa umagang ito. We welcome our episode moderator who will also introduce our speaker and be our moderator for today. So magandang umaga po, Dr. Cecilia C. Almontero. Ma'am?
Okay. Thank you, Hazel. Good morning, everyone. Allow me to introduce to you our guest speaker for this morning webinar. Dr. Marian Sayoc is the Public Affairs Lead of the East-West Seed International. She has 20 years of professional experience in the seeds industry and a former general manager of the East-West Seed Philippines, a Dutch company engaged in the research, development, production, and distribution of vegetable seeds. East-West Seed is a market leader for tropical vegetable seeds in Asia and developing markets in Africa and Latin America. Dr. Sayoc is active in the local and international seed sector. She is currently the president of the Philippine Seed Industry Association. She is the past president of the Asia Pacific Seed Association and has been elected as the board of International Seed Federation and is a member of the Breeders Committee, Sustainable Agriculture Committee, and Vegetable and Ornamental Board of ISF. She was a member of the executive board of the Global Crop Diversity Trust from 2014 to 2019, an international organization working to safeguard the crop diversity. Her current posts are President of the Philippine Dutch Fellow Network Incorporated, Chair of the Dutch Chamber of the Commerce of the Philippines, Chair of the Committee on Fruits and Vegetables, DA Philippine Council for Food and Agriculture. Co-chair of the Agriculture Committee, European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, and chair of the Board of Advisor de La Salle Araneta University. She has recently been conferred as the knighthood in the Order of Orange Nassau by the King of Netherlands for her advocacy in agriculture and food and for strengthening the Filipino-Dutch relations. Prior to her stint in the private sector, Marian Sayoc had a long career in the government. She held key positions in the Department of Agriculture as Training Center Superintendent of the International Training Center of Pig Husbandry, Executive Director of the Agricultural Training Institute, and Regional Director of the Regional Feed Office, Region 4. She was a career executive service officer when she left the government service. And she obtained her PhD degree in veterinary medicine from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dear friends, to give us information and share her experiences in the seed sector, please welcome Dr. Marian Sayoc.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cecil Almontero, for the very generous introduction. Well, just a small correction. I actually obtained my Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree, not necessarily PhD, from no problem. From at the time, the College of Vet Med was in UP Diliman, so you could guess, my age now. But so I'm a veterinarian, so I'd like to say that I'm a veterinarian, now a vegetarian, because I work mostly with vegetables and the seed sector. But before I continue, I would really like to thank Dean Bisit and his team at the College of Agriculture and Food Science for inviting me to be part of this Aggie PS talk, this webinar series. And I am very pleased to talk on the topic empowering women for food secure future. Can we move? Yeah, can we have the slides, please? Yeah. Okay, next slide. So, well, we all know that women play a key role in the production of food. Women produce over 50% of the world's food. That's according to the FAO. And also, women comprise about 43% of the agricultural labor force worldwide. Next slide, please. So here are some quick facts about women in agriculture. So I already mentioned 43% of farm workers in developing countries worldwide are women. About 17% of rural households in Asia Pacific are headed by women. Globally, women provide 85 to 90% of total time spent on housework, childcare, and unpaid farm work. So women, they are superheroes because they have multiple roles. Many societies in Asia prevent women from owning land. So globally, fewer than 2 in 10 landowners are women. Women farmers worldwide get 20 to 30% lower yields than men due to poor access to farm inputs and services. But it is said that with more resources, women farmers can boost total farm output in developing countries by 2.5 to 4% and feed 100 to 150 million more people globally. Next slide, please. Now, let me tell you briefly about East-West Seed. Also, although Dr. Rianyo also has already introduced the company we work with, but let me just tell you something more about East-West Seed. So East-West Seed introduced market-oriented plant breeding in Southeast Asia in 1982. So East-West Seed started in the Philippines, and we are now directly present in 10 countries in Southeast Asia, Latin America, and in Africa. And we export our seeds to 60 countries. We are the market leader in tropical vegetable seeds in the Philippines, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in Myanmar. And our business model centers on smallholder farmers. So farmers are at the heart of everything we do. East-West Seed was ranked #1 in the Global Seed Index for vegetables twice. And just recently, the World Benchmarking Alliance also recently conducted another Access to Seed Index study. And the result so far is we rank #2 in Central and Western Africa. So we are still waiting for the results for South and Southeast Asia and also the global index. And we are very proud that our founder, Simon Groth, was given the World Food Prize laureate in 2019. So the World Food Prize is equivalent to the Nobel Peace Prize in agriculture. Next slide, please. Now, East-West Seed contributes to the Sustainable Development Agenda of the United Nations. And one of these is SDG number 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. At East West Seed, 1 out of 3 employees is a woman. Next slide, please. Also, most key functions in the company are headed by a female manager. In R&D alone, our plant breeders, 10 out of 12 breeders, or 83%, are women. At the group level, the research and development, HR, communications, and public affairs, no, that's me, they all have female managers. And in East-West Philippines, research operations, genetic resources management, stock seed production and research, quality assurance, plant pathology, knowledge transfer, and human resources are headed by female managers. Next slide, please. We also involve women farmers in participatory plant breeding. About, I think we have what we call the product development support, and we have a pool of farmers who help us evaluate the varieties that may be introduced commercially. So women farmers participate in pre-commercial selection of vegetable varieties. They provide data on yield, disease resistance, fruit quality, taste, so on new varieties coming from R&D. Next slide, please. About 80% of the seeds we sell are produced locally, and women play an important role in seed production. So East Philippines, we have a total area of about 580 hectares spread across 9 production areas in the country, mainly in the north and also in Mindanao. And we have about 3,500 contract farmers. So they produce the seeds for us, and the contract farmers has an average land holding of only 5,000 square meters. So 5,000 square meters, they could already be a contract farmer for us to produce seeds. And the crops planted are bitter gourd, cucumber, loofah, tomato, hot and sweet pepper, watermelon, squash, muskmelon, yard-long bean, okra, upo, eggplant. And the number, so we produce mainly hybrid seeds, so we do manual pollination. So the number of pollinators per cropping season, usually, I think this very exact number was taken during the last production season, 13,169 pollinators. So we hired this number, and 70% of them are female and only 30% male. And the average work days in one season is 47 days. So the company also provides employment in the rural communities even for at least 47 days. Women pollinators, we prefer actually women pollinators. Why? Because they have tender hands and they are more patient and persevering in finding female flowers. So that's why we prefer them not to male pollinators. Also, women farmers do the harvesting of the fruits and then seed extraction and cleaning. They really do these tasks with tender, loving care. Next slide, please. So the use of high-quality seeds is not enough to make farming profitable. Farmers need to adapt better agronomic practices to optimize the genetic potential of improved varieties. So East-West Seed has a knowledge transfer department which provides training to farmers in the form of farm business schools or farmer field schools. And based on our experience, the participation of women in knowledge transfer is very significant. So female attendees in farmer field schools average 75%. And then in some of the areas, women farmer leaders even help organize farmers' classes. And in other East-West seed countries where we do knowledge transfer, women roving agents manage community-based agro shops. So it is very important that if you see this picture, they're practically all women. And if you see the lower picture on the left, you see 6 women farmers with their children in tow, attending this hands-on lesson on preparing beds, no, for planting. So this is a typical site, and later on it would be good to remember when you plan the trainings to consider these working moms, no. So you have small children, they're carrying small children, and we see more of this actually in the rural areas. Next slide, please. Now, how do we empower women for a food secure future? I think this is very important. Education is key to unlocking the potential of women. We think girls should have equal access to education as boys. And it is said that an educated female population increases a country's productivity and fuels economic growth. The importance of girls' education is generational. So girls are the future mothers of our society. And every girl that receives an education is more likely to make education a priority for her children. Next is, it is good to encourage women to venture in fields which are traditionally dominated by men. For example, courses like agriculture, plant breeding, even veterinary medicine. I remember when I was doing my veterinary medicine study, the ratio was 4:1, 1 female to 4 men. But I think now it's the reverse. I mean, there are more women taking up veterinary medicine now than men. And also even in agricultural engineering. So we have to encourage women, no? That they could also take courses that are traditionally meant for men. Next is promoting gender equality in the workplace. Also very important. Companies should provide equal opportunities for women in terms of hiring, promotion, training, and career development. So if you've seen, about East-West Seed, no, we don't discriminate against women, even in hiring and even promotion. So most of the key functions are actually headed by women. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to talk more about women farmers, as women farmers play an important role in food production. But women farmers, as I said, have multiple roles in the household. So they grow food, they cook meals, they provide nourishment and nutrition to the family. They care for the children. And during this time of pandemic, they also act as teachers. So they are now homeschool teachers. So they are overworked yet undervalued. So it is important that they would be given access to and control over productive resources. So they need to have access to credit, finance, land rights, access to extension services. And women farmers have to have shared control over the use of income. So it's not only the men of the house who should decide where the household expenses, not or the use of income, but it should be shared decision making between the husband and the wife. And right now, I think there is still a gender wage gap in the country. I think female workers in the agriculture sector receive about 20 to 30% less than their male counterparts. So it is important to narrow the gender wage gap. Then leadership in the community. Women should be able to participate in decision making and be represented in agricultural organizations, in agriculture and fishery councils and cooperatives. Then it is also important to understand and recognize the workload and responsibilities of women in rural areas. I've shown you that picture. That's why I said those organizing training courses should be able to adapt the time, place, and length of training according to the needs of the women farmers. And it is important that government provides institutional support to women farmers, especially on health and maternal care. And also mainstreaming gender perspectives in the design of agricultural programs is a must. So, for example, gender and development focal points, focal persons should be in place in government agencies and in the local government units. And it is important to increase registry of women farmers and fisher folks in the registry system on basic sectors in agriculture and the fisher folk registration system. This registry system is very important because it forms the basis of the government's support, financial and material support to women farmers. And presently, mainly the registry contains names of the male farmers, but not the women farmers. So I think this is still an area, to be looked at. Next slide, please. Now, I just wanted here to share with you the legislations and policies on women empowerment. So the Philippines is really also quite not really advanced, but we are quite progressive in this respect. So first is the Magna Carta for women. This was enacted in 2009, and it's a women's rights law that provides recognition and protection of the rights of Filipino women. It targets to eradicate discrimination against women, particularly in the marginalized sectors like agriculture. Then we also had the Women in Development and Nation Building Act. It emphasizes the state's recognition of the role of women in nation building. It provides for the equal rights of women and men to act and enter into contracts. Also the capacity to borrow and obtain loans and equal access of rural women to resources and trainings. Now, the Philippine Development Plan for Women, which was actually promulgated 1989-1992, this was still during the time of former President Corazon Aquino, is a multilateral effort for government line agencies, non-government women's groups, and rural organizations. The plan served as a substantial reference in battling discriminatory policies and practices against women and ensure women's equal claims to development resources. Now, currently, we have the Philippine Plan for Gender Responsive Development. This is a long-term gender and development goals and objectives for the Philippines to be accomplished in 30 years. It is the initiative of the government that emphasized on mainstreaming gender and development in strategies, policies, and program areas for implementation in different sectors of the government. And then we have the Philippine Commission on Women. It's a government agency under the Office of the President and is tasked to oversee the implementation of the Magna Carta for Women and the Philippine Plan for Gender Responsive Development. We also have the National Rural Women Coalition. This organization has members of around 426 rural women organizations in 42 provinces who are committed to the elimination of discrimination, violence, and poverty, and in strengthening of the Philippine women's movement. Now, the last week, all government agencies were actually compelled not to allocate 5% of their total budget for gender and development related programs and projects, both at the national and LGU level. So each government agency has to designate a GAD focal point as the key unit in the institutionalization of GAD. Next slide, please. Okay, now women play, based on all our, on the presentations, women play a vital role in ensuring a food and nutrition secure future. Now, in the Global Gap Report 2020 of the World Economic Forum, the Philippines ranked 17 out of 156 countries. In 2019, we ranked 16th. And in 2006, when this Global Gap Report was first launched, we ranked 6th. So we see that, we are slipping actually, in the ranking. Now, to prevent further deterioration of the country's ranking, we need better implementation of gender-sensitive policies and programs, especially for women in agriculture. So the policies and the legislative measures that I just discussed, they are very good on paper, but I think we still have a lot of room to grow as far as implementation is concerned. Next slide, please. So I'd like to end my short talk with a quote from the former First Lady of the US. There is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. Next slide, please. Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I will be happy to take questions or to give additional remarks.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Marian Sayoc, for sharing a relevant, informative, and encouraging topic to us. We have learned the different roles of women in crop production and in agriculture. And some of these include those that you mentioned: participation in commercial seed production and knowledge transfer, and that we can also participate in empowering women for a food and nutrition secure future. So for those who have queries and clarifications and even questions about the topic, please type in your questions on the Q&A section here in Zoom. And then for our YouTube and Facebook participants, kindly put your questions in the comment section. And then again, I would like to call on Dr. Cecil Almontero to moderate our discussion. Ma'am?
Okay po. Ma'am, thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge in the seed sector. Ma'am, for the first question po, how can a woman farmer participate in your pre-commercial selection?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. We have actually a pool of farmers that is managed by our product development support service, and they have existing farmers who are participating in this in the evaluation of new varieties. I think, yeah, I could I could ask our what we call PDS manager to to get in touch, no, with perhaps with the mouse, with the municipal agricultural office, for those who are interested to actually participate in this activity.
Okay. Ma'am, for the second question, what are the trainings for the women farmers that you provide?
The knowledge transfer department actually provides training mostly in the form of farmer field school. So this is like a 14-week training. So 4 days a week, the participants actually work in the use their own farm as the laboratory, and there's 1 day in a week for the theoretical aspects, and these the farmer field schools are conducted by our technical training specialists who are actually also immersed in the community. So it's a 14-week training, and also we don't only give the technical training, but also on the entrepreneurial side. So teaching them also cost benefit analysis, farm income analysis, and even afterwards linking them to would-be buyers and institutional buyers.
Okay, ma'am. Ito po from Vincent Haushan. How can we avail of the free seeds? Thank you and keep safe po. Ayan na, meron po daw pang free seeds.
Yeah, you know what? I should have thought about it. That we could have. Well, anyway, we could have we could have made this more fun, like with a quiz, and then with after my talk a quiz, and then give free seeds. But it doesn't matter. But we actually give out some what we call free seeds. No, we donate. Especially in times of calamities, and like we also support the gulayan sa barangay, and even gulayan sa paaralan. So you can get in touch with us or with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you can share my Catherine maybe could put in the chat box my email address.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, from Tan De Luna of the UPPSAE. What are some of the barriers that the Filipino women face in agriculture, and how could we abolish gender-specific barriers in farming? Okay.
Thank you. I know exactly who is asking that question. Quite difficult. Thank you, Dr. Rina Tan De Luna, for that question. But well, I have discussed briefly, the barriers, the challenges faced by women farmers in agriculture. I think the main problem is really first the position of women in society. They are still considered like subordinate, or to men. That's why in terms of land ownership, they cannot even own lands. It should be the husband, or it should be a conjugal thing. Also, next, I think they're because they're doing multiple roles, no, and they are first expected to take care of the family, take care of the household, take care of the children. They're doing a lot of roles, and yet and sometimes they wouldn't have, you know, the time, no, and to pursue, you know, their own, you know, their own dreams and aspirations. So it is really, so that's why they are undervalued. And then in this, also in decision making, a lot of the agricultural organizations in the rural, you know, in the rural areas, it's still, you know, managed and headed by men. But now there is also, I think the rural women are also now finding their voice. In fact, day after tomorrow, I will be one of the board of judges for the search for the outstanding rural women in the country. It's a project of the Department of Agriculture, and I've seen the nominees, and it's so heartwarming to see, you know, how they were able to overcome these barriers, these challenges. And it's really just believing in yourself that a woman can do the same as what a man does.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ito po ho from Honey May Paragoso. Ma'am, how can you encourage those women's farmers to continue their farm as their source of income?
You know, I think if the farm is profitable, then women will be able to continue. I mean, not only women, but even men. Any farmer who sees farming as profitable, they will continue the farming venture. So it is important. And how do you make it profitable? I think two important things are the use of high quality inputs, high quality seeds, and also applying the right farming practices, better agronomic practices. So that's why it's important that farmers, no, women farmers, you know, attend these training courses to be able to learn what are, you know, these modern farming practices to make farming more profitable.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, ibabasahin lang po akong message from Prof. Tess Borromeo. Good morning, ma'am, Marian. Thank you to your time in sharing with us. Women are so active in international negotiation for conservation and sustainable use of PGRFA. Yun, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Prof. Tess. I am aware that especially for Prof. Tess Borromeo, she is at the forefront of, you know, of representing the Philippines in negotiating for the conservation of plant genetic resources. So that's still also one of the fields, no, that women could seriously consider. And by the way, Prof, I was watching the video on calves, no, and I just noticed, napansin ko lang na yung mga dating deans ay puro naman lalaki. Kailan tayo magkakaroon ng I would really like to see that more women deans in the college.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, eto may isa pa pahong question. What are your other interventions to the community that inspires and strengthens women awareness, gender awareness, and equality?
Okay, also a good question. Actually, we do this mainly through our knowledge transfer. So we engage a lot with the rural women. That's one. And then secondly, as I even in the membership in the agricultural councils, we also encourage women to be more active. As an example, like I'm heading now the committee on of the Philippine Council on Agriculture and Fisheries, the committee on fruits and vegetables, and there are. I'm happy to say that there are now more women active members in that committee. But so yeah, that's how we encourage more women participation. And in fact, when there are also requests for CSR activities, and women organizations actually request this, we instantly give our support.
Okay, ma'am. Meron pa ho, mandaming interesado sa inyong topic. Ma'am, what are the programs given specifically for women so that we can ask our female employees to attend? What are the other programs, ma'am?
You mean in the company or at the rural levels?
Ma'am, siguro sa company kasi it's for the employees.
Oh, for the employees.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, since, as I said, no, we at East West Seed, we embrace the values of diversity and inclusivity. So all our training programs actually are are participated in by both male and female. So everything about career development, leadership, training, they are participated also by women. So we don't actually segregate training programs or career development programs for men and women, but yeah, they're joined together because, as I said, there should be no difference.
Okay, ma'am, may isa pa po. How can women groups connect with you to collaborate and be part of your company's network?
We welcome very much, no? That depends on the objectives of the collaboration, but we welcome very much women organizations to collaborate with us, especially in our knowledge transfer. We would really like to see more women leaders in the community, and we could provide training for that. So both technical and even some soft skills. And apart from the we would also like to see these women farmers go into value adding activities, so we could provide also training on food processing and value adding, and also making more environment friendly farming practices. We also could teach them even this biopesticides, the organic forms of pesticides. So that's what we can do.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, personal question. Since nag-start pa lang po ang SEM namin ngayon dito sa UPLB, kung meron pong mga nanonood ng mga new freshman po na mga kababaihan, ano po yung pwedeng maibigay yung encouragement sa kanila? Kasi since ngayon online lang sila, medyo nagkakaroon sila ng mga adjustment sa mga agriculture subject. So baka naman po meron kayong pwedeng maibigay na message sa kanila.
Oh, thank you. The mere fact na sila ay nag-enroll sa agriculture, napakalaking bagay na yon. And I would encourage them to continue kasi, as I said, ang daming opportunities, no, for women in agriculture. It's not only the farming side, but the science part of it. Like kami sa Seed, palagi kami nangangailangan sa aming R&D ng mga breeders, breeding associates, even in our quality assurance, madami. So there is, a lot of opportunities for women in agriculture. So hindi lang yun sa the science part of it, but across the whole value chain. So, di ba, you can do the on food processing, on even on distribution, marketing. So if you look at so it's not only farming, but across the whole value chain, women are needed.
Yan. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for graciously answering all the questions. And marami pong salamat sa lahat ng participants po na for being so active. Now, Ma'am Hazel.
Thank you po. Thank you, Dr. Sayoc and Dr. Cecil, our moderator. Okay, so maraming salamat po sa mga nagtanong at tayo po ay naliwanagan sa topic na ibinahagi po ni Dr. Sayoc. So maraming salamat pong muli, ma'am.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you po. And we want to recognize our participants. Meron po tayong 31 participants po tayo dito sa Zoom, and then sa atin pong Facebook ay meron po tayong 43, and sa YouTube po ay may 10 na participants po na nanonood. So marami pa rin po tayo na interested po sa topic ni Dr. Sayoc. So thank you po for attending our webinar today. And we also recognize our Dean, Dean Elpidio Egbisit, Dean po ng ating College of Agriculture and Food Science, along with our Associate Deans po, si Dr. Barbara Kawili, ma'am. Welcome po. Salamat po sa pag-attend. And Associate Dean, Dr. Adele Dorado. Thank you po, ma'am, for joining us. And so, in our deep appreciation of your generosity to become our resource speaker, ma'am, the College of Agriculture and Food Science would like to give the Certificate of Appreciation. Let me read the citation. The College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna, presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Marian Sayoc for serving as the resource person on the Seeding Lab during the Aggie Peace Talk version 7, Empowering Women for Food Secured Future, under the webinar program, Rebooting Agriculture in the New Normal, held on 5th of October 2021 via Zoom. Signed by the chair of the CAPS webinar committee, Dr. Pompesi Santa Cruz, and the Dean of CAPS, Dr. Elpidio M. Agbisit Jr. Thank you, ma'am. Would you like to say something to our participants po?
Thank you very much, Prof. Hazel. As I said, it was really a pleasure giving this talk. It is a topic which is close to my heart, and I know that the best is yet to come for women in agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you again, Dr. Sayoc. Thank you po. And for our participants, you will also receive an e-certificate. So kindly answer the feedback form or evaluation form, okay, using the link that is shared or that you can see in your screen. You can also scan the QR code provided in our screen. The link to the evaluation and feedback form will also be shared at our comment sections for our YouTube and Facebook participants. So kindly answer the feedback form to receive the e-certificates. And for our closing message, may we call on Dr. Maria Lourdes S. Edaño, the Deputy Director of the Institute of Crop Science. Ma'am?
Okay, magandang umaga po ulit sa ating lahat. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng nagsidalo ngayon sa ating pagpapalakas ng mga kababaihan tungo sa seguridad ng pagkain sa antas ng sambahayan. Salamat din po sa pagbabahagi ng inyong karanasan, Dr. Sayoc, at kung paano din ang East-West ay naging bahagi sa pagpapaabot ng iba't ibang binhi ng gulay sa ating bansa at kung paano ang kababaihan ay bahagi ng mga managerial position sa atin at pagpaparami din po ng binhi. At isang pagpupugay sa mga kababaihan sa pagiging matyaga, maingat, at maalaga, hindi lamang sa larangan ng pangangasiwa ng kanilang pamilya, kundi gayon din sa halaman at sa kanilang kahit anong pasuking hanap buhay. Kaya't kailangan po talagang bigyan ng pansin ang pagpapalakas ng mga kababaihan at pagpapatupad ng mga batas upang maitaas ang karapatan ng mga kababaihan. Muli po, maraming salamat po sa lahat. Thank you, Dean and Associate Deans, para po sa mga oportunidad po na ganito. At patuloy po ang mga ganitong serye po ng pag-uusap. Salamat po muli, Dr. Sayoc, at sa lahat po ng nagsidalo. Isang magandang umaga po sa lahat at maraming salamat din po sa tumulong para maisakatuparan po ang ganitong kaganapan.
Thank you po. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Malu. And thank you so much to all our attendees in the Zoom, on our CAPS FB page and CAPS YouTube channel. We also acknowledge the CAPS Extension Committee and all the institutions under the CAPS. So now for our next episode, before we end, you will be hearing another exciting topic from our CAPS former Dean. Ito, ma'am. Ito po yung aming former Dean, si Dr. Candida Adalia, on October 7 at same time po, 9 a.m. So you can register for this webinar using the link which is posted po on our screen. So, ayan po. And also you can scan the QR code for registration. Ayan po yung link. So you can also see for more details about this topic later on sa ating CAPS and check this webinar in our CAPS FB page. So again, maraming salamat po to all our attendees for today's webinar. Continue following the College of Agriculture and Food Science social media platforms for more updates and news. So again, thank you po sa ating resource person, Dr. Sayoc, and to the CAPS Extension Committee. And this is your MC for today, Hazel Ann Makahiya, and saying that may you have a good morning today and the rest of the day. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Dr. Sayoc.
Thank you. It was really a pleasure, and thank you and congratulations to CAPS for having this webinar series. Very, very interesting and very relevant and useful. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you po. Ma'am Marian, mag-get in touch po ako sa inyo. May hingin po akong, yung address nyo po. May padadala po si Dean.
Yeah, sure, Catherine. We only see, sa email lang tayo. I want to see, magpakita ka naman.
Taga Batangas lang yan si Ma'am, Kat.
Kaya,
Dadalawin po din.
Lipa. Sa Lipa. Dadalhin mo na lang.
oh, I'm actually based in Lipa. I'm here in Lipa. Okay, sige.